Mustache. Hello. New player? Just getting that XP. 27. Nice.
What do you boys think about going turkey hunting this year? I think we ought to go.
Mr. Willie, my mom wants me to ask you, would you come down to our house? There's some kind of wild man down there in the woods by the creek.
Now, boy, I want you to go back down there and tell your mama there ain't a thing in the world to be afraid of. I'll come down there tomorrow and check it out. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thanks, sir.
You know, that's the third time that old lady sent that kid up here to tell me there's a big old hairy monster down there in my field. I guess I'll have to get down there tomorrow and see about it.
28 XP.
I was 7 years old when I first heard him scream. It scared me then, and it scares me now.
Yeah.
This is Fouke, Arkansas. I grew up here. The population was about 350 when I was a boy. It still is. Fouke is way down in the southwest corner, where Arkansas joins Texas and Louisiana. If you've ever driven from Shreveport to Texarkana, you passed right through Fouke, even if you don't remember seeing it. Aside from homes, Fouke has several stores, a couple of gas stations, a post office and school, garage and motel, and 2 cafes where the men folks stop by for coffee and conversation on the fish they've caught, or the duck, quail, squirrel, or deer they've hunted. Fishing and hunting take up a lot of almost everybody's time. Maybe Smoky Crabtree, who lives way back down on the edge of the bottoms, will tell about a mink or beaver he or his son Travis caught.
I'm almost to 30.
Smoky raises beef cattle and traps part-time and works as a pipeline welder when the good jobs come along. Travis walks and paddles for miles every morning, running his trap lines before school starts. Most of the people who live around Fouke are farmers or ranchers. This country is rich and fertile, plenty of grass and water. Our land is veined with a great network of branches, creeks, river, and lakes. Fouke is a right pleasant place to live until the sun goes down. That day in the store, Willie Smith didn't believe me when I told him about a wild, hairy creature in the woods. He believes me now.
And he ran on east, jumped over the fence, just seemed like he just sort of pushed it down with his left hand, just stepped over. It was wounded and was holding that right chest. It had that right hand on his chest all the time that it was in sight. Maybe if it hadn't been hurt pretty badly, why, it might have run on all 4 legs. I don't know. But it wasn't. It was running on 2 legs at all times. That was about all I saw of the thing.
Something came through here last night and killed my 2 prize shotes. Found one of them lying right here, deep gashes and cuts in, and his tongue was hanging out. Looked like something had strangled him. I keep them down here by the creek in this pen, and whatever it was, got in the pen, lifted both them 200-pound hogs over the fence. I couldn't find no place where they'd been dragged under. I couldn't find no tracks, so I figured whatever it was came and left traveling up and down that creek. Not knowing what had killed them hogs, I just threw them away. I carried them way off out there in the bushes so the smell wouldn't get back up the house there. Next day, got up and looked out there and thought it kind of funny, not seeing any buzzards circling or anything. So came down here and both hogs were gone. That thing, whatever it was, must have come
30
back,
XP.
and the grass wasn't even disturbed where the hogs was. What kind of thing can pick up 200-pound hogs and walk off with them?
I doubt if you could find a lonelier, spookier place in this country than down around Boggy Creek. It twists and winds its way across the Fouke countryside, widening and narrowing, sheltering within its thickly wooded banks a multitude of creatures that run, fly, swim, creep, and crawl. Eventually, Boggy empties into Days Creek and flows onward into the Sulphur River. Heavy rainfall half the year causes our creeks and rivers to flood and spread over wide sections of densely thicketed and forested bottomland. In the Sulphur River bottoms, the water spreads out for miles across the bottomland, a lot of which is so densely thicketed that only a few hunters and trappers have the skill to make their way deep into this wild, swampy country. A lot of people believe the creature prowls back in here most of the time, but every now and then, drawn to civilization like a moth to flame, he creeps out about dusk. These nighttime visits have set off waves of terror around Fouke for over 15 years. What in the world is this creature? Where did he come from? And what does he eat? Are questions I've heard discussed a 1,000 times around winter fires and on hot summer evenings. When the creature, whom the newspapers quickly named the Fouke Monster, was first seen, he didn't seem to make any special effort to hide from people. At least Fred Crabtree, a farmer who hunted a lot, had that opinion.
Just didn't look like anything I'd ever seen. I thought at first it might be some kind of a wild man. I couldn't tell with all that hair just what it was. I changed my shells and my shotgun from squirrel shot to my buckshot. More for my protection than anything else. If I'd have had my rifle, I believe I could have knocked him down easy. But I doubt if I would have. I kept thinking, it's just a chance. Might be a man. And if I'd have shot that thing, it turned out to be a man, I'd have had to live with that the rest of my life.
Although he was never sure, Fred got the impression the creature had been washing his feet in the icy water. A few months later, James Crabtree was squirrel hunting, only a short distance from the spot where Fred Crabtree had seen him.
I've spent a lot of my life in these woods, and there was something strange about that evening that I couldn't put my finger on it. It was just a feeling I had. There didn't seem to be as many birds and little small animals out as usual. In fact, they seemed mighty scarce. right out in plain sight, right out there in front of me. And it was some kind of thing that I've never come across before. Well, he stared at me for a little while, and he just slipped out of sight. I never saw him again.
Neither Fred Crabtree nor his Uncle James told anyone about their experience for years. They figured nobody would believe them. He always travels the creeks. That was one of the first things we figured out. This little branch feeds into Boggy Creek. The Searcy family lives here. Mary Beth Searcy is a teenage student. Right now, her older married sister and her baby are visiting. Her father's working in another town, and her younger brother is spending the night with a friend. So this evening, just the two girls, their mother, and the baby will be alone in this house. They have no phone, and the nearest neighbor is a mile or so across the woods.
Oh my gosh.
Mary Beth? Mary Beth, would you please hang something over the window? There's a draft on the baby. Yeah, okay. Just a minute. Mary Beth, would you please hurry up? This draft's gonna give the baby a cold. Okay, okay.
long night of terror. In a few minutes, Mary Beth was revived, and the three women, shaking in fear, freezing at every sound in the darkness, waited out the long hours of blackness. The baby slept peacefully through it all. Next morning, they would discover their dead kitten, completely unmarked. Apparently, she had simply been scared to death. The beauty of the bottoms under soft moonlight is transformed into dark, menacing danger. And the shadows of the night trigger your imagination into being places where possibly the creature is lurking, because you know he's out there somewhere. If, like this 13-year-old boy, you've grown up as a woodsman and hunter, you never miss an opportunity to get yourself a deer. Yes, there's no doubt about it. The dogs are hot on the trail, chasing the deer in this direction.
I feel like I'm gonna redo my bed like this. Huh?
Later, they found 2-inch saplings broken down by the creature in his pain and fury. They saw crushed underbrush and bloodstains, which, in the excitement, no one thought to gather a sample of.
Where are you?
But they did not find the creature. The terrifying stories of face-to-face
Uh-oh.
encounters with the creature triggered the Fouke community into action. A big hunt was organized, with some of the best hunting dogs in Arkansas and Texas involved. They even brought in some famous dogs from Tennessee. I got to go along, and I still vividly recall how I was trembling with excitement. We had heard that earlier some other dogs had refused to trail the creature, cowing in fear and running back at the first whiff of his sour pig pen smell. But we were confident our dogs would get the job done.
Hey, Earl, where'd that old boy go brought them dogs in here? Yeah, I see that.
get that black sand, Frank. That old blue boy, he's out of that litter by that old long-nosed Dick Willie. Pretty good dog, too. Listen, when old Henry Red Dog crosses the trail, there won't be no doubt it's him.
While several groups hunted on foot, others scouted designated areas on horseback. While we made our way along the dirt road he had been crossing, the men on horseback swept across the woodlands along the creek areas. About this time, our dog struck his trail where he'd crossed the road.
Hey, found his trail. Go get him. Attaboy, trail now. Get him, Bruce.
You've never seen a more embarrassed and angry group of dog owners. Not a one of these famous hunting dogs would trail the creature's scent. They whined, tucked their tails, and came running back, obviously scared. I was sure disappointed. Despite the failure of the dogs to trail the creature, several groups of hunters kept going far into the night. Later, we got word that one hunting party had got the creature to scream angrily back at a wounded rabbit call, but moved deeper into the forest when they tried to get closer. The hunters were interested in plunging into thick woods in pitch darkness, knowing he was out there. Often I've tried to imagine how the creature must feel, since his very appearance and the sounds he makes frightened us. Our immediate reaction was to try to kill him. I suppose if a strange-looking creature from another world showed up, he'd get the same reception. Actually, at first, the creature didn't try to harm anybody. But now, after being hunted and hurt, he suddenly disappeared. So far as we know, he wasn't seen again for 8 years. Where did he go? Well, we believe he simply headed back deeper and deeper into the bottoms, beyond the reach of men. Only the alligator and wolf, crane and possum, and 1,000 other wild creatures heard his occasional lonely cries ringing out over his watery domain.
This is where the story plays, a world on which we seldom gaze, a page page from the book of yesterday. Birds and beasts and wind and water. Here beneath the bright blue sky, no man's more blind as the eagle's eye. And things that crawl or swim or fly, feed and breed and live and die.
Seasons passed. Summers into falls, winters into springs, and somewhere in the remote wilderness of the bottoms, the creature spent his days.
The sulphur river flows, rising when the storm cloud blows, and this is where the creature goes, safe within a world he knows. Perhaps he dimly wonders why there is no other such as I, to touch, to love before I die, to listen to my lonely cry.
None of us Falk boys would admit it, but for a long time, knowing the creature might be around had put a damper on our pack trips back into the wilderness. But as time passed, and stories and conversation about the Falk monster died down, teenage boys again began to go off on long camping trips in the bottoms. Travis Crabtree is the kind of fearless outdoor kid that would have gone anyway, even knowing the creature was around. There's nothing Travis likes better than to spend the weekend camping on one of the hilltop islands created by high water deep in the bottomland.
Hey, Travis Crabtree, wait a minute for me. Let's go back in the bottom, back where the fish are biting, where all the world's inviting, and nobody sees the flowers bloom but me. Hey, Travis Crabtree, do you see what I see? On the gentle winds of morning, a million birds are singing, like the bells of heaven ringing, and nobody sees the flowers bloom but me. Drop me on a patch of land, never stepped upon by man, where the crystal water flows deep, while the falcon flies high across the yellow-eyed sky. Lord, ain't it great to be free? Hey, Travis Crabtree. It's the right life for me. Roaming alone in the bottom, while the birds and beasts are crying, because the sun is dying and nobody sees the flowers bloom but me. And nobody sees the flowers bloom but me. And nobody sees the flowers bloom but me.
When he's down in the bottoms, Travis always stops off for a visit and a cup of coffee with Herb Jones. Herb Jones is a man who likes a lot of privacy. He's been living alone in these bottoms for the past 20 years.
Well, Travis.
Travis always enjoys these visits with Herb
Herb, how you been
and
doing?
never fails to bring him tobacco and other supplies. Herb can spin yarns for hours about his experiences with the wild creatures of the bottomland. Herb tells Travis to be on the lookout for a big old wild boar with double curled tusks he spotted a day or two earlier. Herb limps because he once accidentally shot part of his foot away in a boating accident. Although he was all alone, he made it out of the bottoms to a doctor.
Yeah, I guess kind of like a rheumatism. I've been living down here by myself for a long time. About 14 miles by boat from my place to the nearest road. And it's a pretty good walk to town. Them Crabtree boys, especially that Travis, always drop by to see me when they come hunting or fishing. They always bring me tobacco and sugar and stuff like that. Even a bottle of wine every once in a while. Did you notice my bottle tree on the way in? I use them bottles as floats on my trot lines. I catch some mighty big catfish and buffalo on them lines. Here's an old crane flies over every day. Looks at my place. I don't know what he's looking for. Once you get to know these bottoms, you never lack for something to do. People always ask me why I stay down here. I tell them I stay because I like it better here than I would anywhere else. Looks like they could figure that out for themselves. And another thing, people always ask me, have I seen the Fouke monster? Let me tell you something. There ain't no such thing. I've been living here in these bottoms for better than 20 years. I ain't never seen or heard no monster.
What was that?
I don't know, but let's get out of here.
The creature was back. Once again, the lure of civilization had brought him out of the wilderness. Soon, newspaper headlines would herald the return of the Fouke monster, and people would get together around Fouke to relate the latest rumors on the creature. Every dead animal found in the forest was blamed upon him. This dog and others found dead might well be his victims. Excitement in the community reached a new peak when a farmer named O.H. Kennedy discovered these strange three-toed footsteps in Willie Smith's bean field. Radio, newspaper, and television coverage resulted in nationwide publicity.
There it is. Must not be over 4 inches wide.
Mr. Kennedy, you say you found these tracks late Sunday. Now, was that late yesterday afternoon?
Yes, sir. Just before sundown. My wife and I went out for a ride. She's been feeling poorly lately. And we decided to stop by the bean field to see if the ground was too wet to plow. We called Willie Smith right away.
Mr. Kennedy, do you think this creature could be a Sasquatch?
Sasquatch? I don't believe I know what that is, sir.
Well, the Sasquatch was an Indian's word.
What
for a
enchantment do you
legendary
have to
giant
use
tribe
to
of
get
very shy
fire
people. They live
arrows?
mostly in the woods up in the Pacific Northwest.
Well, I didn't see anybody.
Huh?
All I've seen, sir, is these tracks.
Well, now, doesn't the
Hello?
Sasquatch have a normal 5 toes? This thing here has only
Did
3
you hear
toes.
me?
Yes, and the adult Sasquatch footprint
I
is
said,
bigger,
what
too. It's
enchantment
18
do you have
inches
to
long
use
on
to
the
get
average.
fire
These
arrows?
big gorilla tracks? No, I don't think it's a gorilla. A gorilla has 5 toes and very seldom moves upright on 2 legs for very long. This thing it had to drop down on all 4s to
Is that
travel
like,
this
do you
far.
get that from?
What about a orangutan? This is the same thing people around here have reported seeing over the past few years. He's reddish brown. That's the same color as orangutan. Well, I don't think this could be orangutan. The number of the toes are wrong.
Excuse me, Mr. Kennedy, you spent a lot of time working in this field, right? Did you ever see tracks like this any here before?
No, sir. I can't say that I have. There's a lot of fresh animal tracks around this field all the time. Deer and wolf and bobcat and all kinds of other tracks, but I've never seen anything like these before.
Well, Mr. Kennedy, did you ever hear anything out of the ordinary down here?
Well, I've heard some pretty peculiar things out here, but I've never seen nothing unusual out of this before.
I wonder what moves the creature to pick a particular patch of woods and return to it again and again. These woods, next to the bean field, must be one of his favorite haunts.
Oh, and what I heard, I guess it was what I didn't hear that made it kind of spooky. Even when that tractor's running and you can't hear nothing, you get a funny feeling that something's wrong. And I think, wasn't sure, but I think I'd hear a low growl or a hoot or a grunt or something from back at the trees, and you know something out there's watching you. And there's some kind of animal hanging around this field, all right. And he ain't no animal that from this part of the country.
He always travels Boggy Creek. Bessie Smith's children playing at the edge of the woods over there, where Kennedy heard the creature.
gonna get a switch. Well, Mom, when you come downstairs and let us show you, turn the on. Shut up, you fat monster. Oh, you know there isn't anything there. There it is. Come on, hurry, he might go. Yeah. She just lost. Over there. Well, there was. That's what we saw last.
Should we go someplace else?
That's Charlie
Other
Walraven
than the
coming down the
6P
road.
farm?
This road runs along the north side of the woods.
It was long about dark. I was heading into town that evening. I seen this thing come out across the road
Can you
in
help
front
me
of
get
my
home?
car. I just couldn't even believe what I was watching. You know, I reckon there's a lot of folks that don't believe anything till they see it for themselves. Of course, then if they like me, maybe they'd be wishing they hadn't seen what they did. You know, that thing gonna up and kill somebody one of these days, sure as the world.
On a bright moonlight night like this one, you'd figure he'd stay out of sight. But nothing seems to worry him when the urge to prowl comes over him. It could have been a fatal mistake if the man who lives here had been home tonight. He has a high-powered rifle handy and knows how to use it. His daughter, Nancy, has invited 2 girlfriends over for a bunking party.
No, our team's much better in Arkansas High. You know that.
Arkansas High, well.
I know, but their defense is. Yeah, but look at their offense. Nancy, I like the way they cut your hair. I think it's cute. Well, Frank liked it long. He's been sulking all week. Now, don't pay any attention to him. He doesn't know anything about it. Did y'all hear something? That's the wind. I can't see anything. Do you?
No, I don't see anything.
Then it must have been the wind.
I hope.
Let's all have a coat. Do y'all
Sure.
want one? Yeah, get...
Yeah.
Nancy, there's somebody moving around outside this trailer. Do you think it could be some of the guys? If it is, I'll kill them.
I can't believe it's them.
I don't understand where I am right now.
Listen.
How do I get down without dying? not die. How do I not die?
I don't hear
Yeah, I
you.
don't want to die.
I don't either. Be still. I'm gonna look out. No?
Next morning, when her parents returned, they would find the girl still
okay.
half hysterical with shock.
That was scary.
Before the creature finally wandered off, he smashed flower pots and overturned everything in sight.
I don't understand.
These radical changes in his usually cautious behavior may be caused by lonely frustration, for he apparently is the only one of his kind. Normally, he never comes out of the woods before dusk, and then moves very cautiously, staying within quick return to the shelter of the trees. But tonight, he's on the rampage. It wasn't the first time the creature had prowled in the vicinity of Howard Walraven's mobile home, which is located only a couple of hundred yards from where Boggy Creek flows across Highway 71.
We heard him lots of nights. Sometimes it sounded like he was right outside the window. It was so loud. And I had my two good dogs tied up right there behind the house, and they'd always get excited and scared, you know, whenever he'd come around. We heard him, but I never figured he'd attack them. It just looked to me like he grabbed my dog and ripped the hide right off his back. Now, let me tell you something. He killed the finest dog that I ever had. But I'm going to get him one of these days, and that's going to be all she wrote.
Sometimes the creature sticks to one patch of woods for a long time, then impulsively works his way far up the creeks before being heard from again. The creeks. He always travels the creeks. When he next showed up, it was several miles upstream. In the spring, this house was rented to two young couples who moved in together to save money. They were Charles Turner, his wife Ann, and Don Ford, who is Ann Turner's brother, and Don's wife Sue. Each couple had a small child. Don and Charles had just been hired by a big cattle ranch in the Fouke area. Since both men would be required to work late at night, the girls would be company to each other. The two families moved in on Monday. Thursday night, the first of a series of hair-raising incidents occurred.
What were you trying to build when you were blowing up the house? What was that?
Who do you suppose that was? I don't know. Let's take the kids and go to the landlord.
Should I sign off?
I had a pretty good look around, and I couldn't find the thing. Are you sure you don't want to go back to my place till the men get here?
No, that's okay. If you've checked and you're sure there's nothing here, then we'll be okay, I think.
I couldn't find a thing. So I'll come back in a little while and check on you.
Okay, listen, Mr. Johnson, we sure do thank you. We appreciate it so much.
Well, you're welcome. I'll wait here till you get in the house.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hi.
The next day, Friday,
Yeah.
the Fords and Turners had visitors. Don Ford's younger brother, Bobby Ford,
Yeah.
and a cousin, 12-year-old Corky Hill, arrived for the weekend. They'd heard about the great fishing around Fock and were anxious to wet a hook.
Y'all be back before dark.
Yeah, we're gonna bring back the supper.
Okay.
Bobby, who told you the fishing was good here?
They're here. Just have patience.
Bobby, come here, come here.
What do you want?
Just come here, come here.
Did you watch the
Boy, look at the size of that guy's
Marcel the
footprint.
Shell?
That ain't no footprint.
That's funny.
Well, what's so funny about that?
He's only got 3 toes.
Yeah. Did you watch it?
Well, it's getting kind of late and the fish aren't biting anyway, so I think we ought to go.
Sure is spooky down here.
Huh? I sent you a video of it.
I still say that's the biggest footman I ever seen.
It's that, you would know it, Marcel the Shell. It's a shell. I sent it to you yesterday. Huh? No, but it kind of has an ASMR feel because she's talking so quietly. There's only 3 episodes of it. I think I texted it to you. Maybe. Thank you.
I think I hear something. Go get Annie and Sue.
Get up, Bobby Short's up. Oh my gosh, back.
I heard something.
It's cute. The first one's the least cutest. The second and the third are the best. No, it's Jenny
Is that him
Slate.
back? It's gotta be.
She's doing the voice.
Corky, go get the kids.
I see him. He's coming around the porch.
Bobby, put that chair under the door.
Yeah. That helps a lot.
I think I heard a car.
Really?
It's Don and Charles.
Hey, Don, listen. I swear to you, man.
You wouldn't believe what happened. I've never seen nothing. You wouldn't believe it.
Hello.
I never seen nothing.
I told you there was something funny about that footprint I found. I just told you there was.
Whoa.
Second time in 2 nights that someone has been around this house.
I think we ought to have some kind of protection. I ain't lying, man.
Think we ought to go to the landlord and get the gun?
That would be a great idea.
Why don't you go down and get
I
the
don't
gun?
know. Shannon does that too.
And everything will be a little quieter tonight, we hope. Okay.
I'm gonna go with you, aren't
You're going to have your gun. We'll have a gun here. Now, y'all don't be scared now, here. Go on in the house. Feel a lot better now.
Well, I'll see what I don't.
I'm just glad Charles and Dawn are home.
Yeah, me too.
Listen, Corky, you got to get some sleep, and so do you. I'm going to go on to bed.
Enchanting room.
I swear, I ain't never seen nothing like it in my life. I mean, you step through there. I don't know why. Look like a bear or something. Yeah. Almost touched her.
Fine, go get the light, and we'll go see what this thing is. Hey, watch for him. He's out here. Let's get him now. I'll look back here. Just a minute. Your eyes open.
Hey, you are. I ain't scared that yet, you know what I'm saying?
What's that right there? That's right out of here, Charles. Is that him? Right there? Yeah, that's him. You better say something out there. You better say something.
Hey, man.
Gonna shoot. Shoot him! He's not saying anything. Shoot him! Shoot him! Shoot him!
I just need to make one more enchanting table. And not enchanting table, bookshelf. Just one more. I only need 2 more books.
You get it? I don't know.
Hey, I think we got it.
I don't see a thing.
That's it.
Shine your light over in here. I don't see anything. Nothing out there either.
I still think we got it.
Tell you what, let's do. Let's go get the sheriff.
Hey,
I would be so happy.
All right, leave the gun here with me. We don't know. We don't even know if we hit it yet. He's going after the sheriff. I'll stay here with you.
I'm gonna go with him, all right?
Come on, jump inside. Hurry back. There's along the other side of the house. What did it look like? Well, best I could tell, the thing was real tall, hair all over it, red eyes. Find anything, Constable?
Not yet. This piece of tin been off all the time?
No, sir, it hasn't.
Have you looked in under there?
No, sir, we haven't looked down there.
Here's a panther track and a little cub.
You have 2 books.
You mean a
You
panther's
can
been
do
looking
your
at the house?
big face.
That's what it is. It's a panther track.
Or 2 pieces of leather.
Panther we shot at, Constable.
We'll bet on that.
Well,
That's what that track is. You keep this shotgun, this light, and these shells, and then if you need me, well, you come at me.
Okay, sir, we sure will.
And I'm going to drive up the highway each way and look to see if I can see anything. We sure appreciate it. Yeah, and I'll pick the gun up tomorrow sometime.
We sure do thank you for coming back.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. If you need me, give me a call.
Okay, we sure will, yeah.
Stay in place you can. Yeah. Good night.
Good night.
What kind of place is this? I mean, a panther living under the house? Somebody's trying to break in.
Well, we've got flashlights, we've got the gun. Now let's all go to bed, get some rest.
I'm with you. Go to bed. Come on, Ed.
All right.
Let's go. Come on,
I swear it's got a way here with the thing coming through the window, though.
Don't worry about it. We got the guns.
I don't want to stay here no more with that thing.
just need 2 more pieces of leather and my enchanting wouldn't be complete.
Get your gun, Charles. Let's go.
Why aren't any of the letters floating to the enchanting table? Is it just because I'm missing one piece? It's like, why aren't any of the letters floating from the bookshelf to the enchanting table? Is it just because I'm missing one piece?
I said, why aren't any of the letters floating from the bookshelves to the enchanting table? Is it just because I'm missing one piece?
Bobby could not be aroused from the state of shock he was in. Everyone
tomorrow, if you want to take me to go get
Raven's house for help.
cows.
Raven took one look at Bobby, arranged a police escort, and sent them on to the hospital in Texarkana.
It's not there. Hmm? I never see any. What? Okay, bye-bye.